G'day legends, welcome back to the Untold Story of Man. We're on episode 4. My name is Daniel Bartlett, I'm a mindset coach and host of the Untold Story of Man.
And my name is Blake Minto, co-host of Untold Story of Men. And we have another special guest today, Nathan, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hey guys, my name's Nathan. So I've come through Dan's Lions Den Brotherhood and really excited to be here and sharing my story to hopefully inspire some other men to really look into how their head is and how their mental health is and taking some action on that. It's a massive thing for me now.
Welcome, man. I already know a little bit about your story. We spoke, I think, on the phone for an hour when we first met before you joined the Lions Den. And yeah, just hearing you on the phone, telling your story and where you were then to where you are now. Holy, bro, it gives me goosebumps. You are a fucking true champion and smashing this journey.
It's an amazing feeling to think back to those 12 months ago and just be like, because it is almost 12 months ago, in March, and like just the craziness that's happened in my life before meeting you. And then, you know, there's still been some craziness, but it's been the positive craziness, which has been just an absolutely life-changing stuff.
And something that you can handle a lot easier too.
Oh, 100%. And that's the thing, that's probably the biggest thing that I've been telling a lot of my friends and a lot of people is, yes, life still throws you those curveballs, but it's about being able to handle them properly now, like the emotions and, you know, just how you're feeling in life.
Yeah.
It's about grabbing hold of it and going, okay, cool, it's okay to feel like that, but how can I work through this the right way, not the wrong way?
Absolutely. And I'm super proud of you. And if you do hear a little kid's voice, Nathan's got his second son.
Yes, my youngest son.
Hello, mate. Hello. So if you do hear a little voice in the background, we haven't kidnapped any kids. He's just got his son here. So yeah, man. Again, welcome. What was I going to say? So the whole point of this podcast is to inspire people, as you know. Yep. You have an awesome story. It's to break the stigma around mental health. So yeah, man, tell us more. Tell us your journey.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So, we'll go back to my teenage years. Probably even younger. I was a pretty handy golfer. Probably, I wouldn't call it prodigy, but for the area, I grew up in Tamworth. I was probably one of the top 5 junior golfers around the area. I've played golf with guys who have now played in the actual I played in PGA Tour events.
Yeah, wow.
Probably just needed to put a bit more heart and soul into it, and I could have been in those events with them. Unfortunately for me, I found alcohol in women. And like most young guys at 14, didn't do too much positive for my life. Bad young relationships where, it's toxicity at its highest because you think that's what a relationship's meant to be. Depression kicked my ass pretty hard. And alongside of that, I started to fall in with the wrong crowd. Started heavily abusing alcohol. Yeah, if you put a drug in front of me, I didn't care what it was. As long as I didn't have to pay for it, I'd take it.
Yeah.
Which then led me to, breaking the law quite regularly. 2012. I was involved, I wasn't involved, I was the driver of a high-speed police chase in Tamworth. I was medium range as well as driving at high speeds. The police called off the chase. Little brain, my little thought went into it. I decided that I'd then go out to the front of the cop shop and do a burnout out the front of the cop shop while giving them the bird.
Jeez.
I was that messed up. I thought I was playing Grand Theft Auto. I was just that far gone. The amount of alcohol and party drugs in my system was just ridiculous. I at the time was working as an apprentice diesel mechanic. I was already on my last legs there. And I was falling asleep underneath trucks and stuff like that. And mechanics were saying they were going to cable tie my hands to the tail shafts and things like that. So I ended up doing 2.5 months in Muswellbrook jail for that one.
How long, sorry?
2.5 months.
Yeah.
It should have been an eye-opener. Got out of jail and went, nah, never going back there. But went straight back to the old habits.
Between you got out and how long till you went back in?
I was back in 12 months later.
Yeah.
Probably not even 12 months. And the second time I actually ended up having to get Supreme Court bail to get out. The magistrate admittedly said, I can't believe you're in jail for the offence. But again, the stupidity of the offence was probably the biggest thing. I'm not a dumb person, but alcohol, drugs, mental health being deteriorated made me very stupid. So the second time I went in, I was for graffiti. Now this one will make you laugh. I graffitied my name, my phone number, my address and my blood type on the main street of Tamworth, as well as some really derogatory terms toward the police.
Yeah. It's like you kind of wanted him to get caught.
Yeah.
I honestly believe I did.
Yeah.
There was this part of me that was like, I'm bulletproof, who cares? And it was, not only did I think I was bulletproof, but I just didn't care about the consequences for myself. Yeah. Who cares if I go to jail? I can do that. I've been there, done that. It's not that big of a thing. So that was, had to get Supreme Court bail for that one. Looking back now, it's one of the big things I remember is for, I think it was 2 years in a row, I had to bring my mum for her birthday whilst in a correctional centre. But again, didn't change. 12 months after that, I found myself in police custody yet again, looking at some pretty serious charges. This one being aggravated break and enter, commit serious indictable offence whilst in company. Long and short of it, me and a couple of mates did a home invasion.
And how old were you then?
I was 20.
20?
Yeah.
So
no, it must have been about 21, sorry, yeah.
So you first went in for the 2.5 months at what age?
I came out, I was out on the 18th of June, so it was 7 days before my 19th birthday.
After, yeah, wow.
So between 2012 and 2014, end of 2014, I'd been in and out of jail 3 times.
Wow.
So on that occasion, though, I had my co-accused with me. The police arrested those 2 on site, and they went, "Oh, yeah, you were probably there, Nathan, but we've got no proof you were there." And I went, "Okay, no worries. What have I got to do to prove it?"
Yeah.
So you're lucky wanted to go back in again.
So they arrested me because I'd been very abusive toward them. They took me to the police station. I ended up saying, "All right, like, what have I got to do?" Because they're like, "Oh, yeah, we're charging 2 others, but you're free to go." And I was like, "Well, hang on a second. This is the again, that sick mental health side of things."
Yeah.
I was in this horrible mental health state where I was like, those are my mates. I can't let them go to jail without me. They've never been. They don't know what it's like. I need to be there with them.
Right.
We've got to be together.
Jeez. Yep.
And so they got police bail. I ended up in the jail for the night because of thanks to my track record. The next day came down for bail court, and they said, "Do you want to change into your civilian clothes for court?" I said, "No point. I'm coming back up the hill here." I got bail from the court.
Wow.
So I had to be walked by my mother from out the front of the courthouse in my prison greens, across the road to where she'd parked the car. Then I had to go up to the jail to collect all my effects. And because I'm no longer in correctional services custody, you're not allowed behind that gate. I had to get undressed in the car park of Tamworth Prison, out of my prison greens into my civilian clothes.
Oh, yeah.
To then be able to go home.
Yeah, right.
So it was on that day I made a decision which ended up not forcing me, but it ended up starting my journey to bettering myself. I got in contact with the Salvation Army, who I'd been in contact before with for alcohol and drug related issues, and
Was
counselling.
was that point there where you decided to change? Was that sort of that flick the switch when that moment there?
100%.
Okay.
So that moment in my life where I realised I was either going to do this for the rest of my life, in and out of jail, or I was going to have a better life.
Yep.
And I was very sick and tired of being in and out of jail or in and out of police custody. Like, just the amount of between, let's say 15 through to 21, the amount of times that I was held in a police station overnight is just beyond a joke.
Yeah.
I was constantly put on bail conditions and constantly breaching them. So I just and this is where, unfortunately, being from where I came from, I hear it a lot on the news, and we talk about it a lot in society now about all these young kids who are being released on bail, and I'm like, I was one of those young kids. I understand why those young kids are going out and doing it because it doesn't feel like you're getting punishment. Like I was on curfew between 9 p.m. and 6 a.m. I had to be home. Coppers could come around any time of the night, knock on the door to make sure I was home.
Check. Yeah.
And then what happened if I wasn't? They just sent out a car to come and pick me up, put me in the cells at the station. Like,
And that's it, and you get to come home the
yeah,
next
then
day.
come home the next day.
Yeah.
So do you think it's heaps lenient towards people on bail, or
It is. Like, there is definitely times where I go, the leniency to bail is ridiculous, but it's also that age group. I honestly believe they need to be harder on that age group because that's the age group that are going to start becoming those, well, I hate to say it, but hardened criminals. Like,
Yeah.
at 18, they're going to be the ones that are going into big house, not just getting.
I think kids are smarter too. Like they realise, oh, I'm not an adult. I can't get in that much trouble as well, so I can do what the fuck I want.
That's it, exactly.
Kind of thing. What are you going to do? I'm a kid.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I guess we're teaching them at that age as well.
Yeah.
When they're not getting, they're not getting in real trouble for it. We're just sending them back home.
Oh, I can tell you.
Yeah.
A prime example of this, and look, unfortunately nowadays my family and I laugh about it, but I can remember sitting in bail court and the magistrate going, if I give you bail, am I going to see you here next weekend? And I would go, yeah, probably.
It's like they're programming the kids, like, isn't it?
Yeah, well, like I've been doing a lot of research around that kind of stuff because I'm trying to understand society a bit better.
Yeah.
And especially being in the mental health space, I kind of want to know what's stemming and what's coming to fruition. And what I've found is kids growing up, in a household where both parents aren't together, or that it's a I guess domestic area for those kids, they're more likely to act out. And then like you said, once they act out, they might be in that fear, oh fuck, I've fucked up, and then once they realise, oh, I didn't even get that much trouble and I'm not getting in trouble at home, fuck, I'm going to keep doing it, and they keep hanging around the same people. And I don't like when I was 15, 16, we were smoking weed down at school and get in trouble like that. Like we never done anything too hectic. I think we egged houses and did the toilet paper thing, but I think that was most kids back in our day.
Yeah, that's right.
But I want to go back to when you were younger, when you were really talented at golf. Like who got you into golf, and
So my dad, one of the first things he ever did was put a golf club in my hand.
Is he a golfer?
He is. He's not a love you dearly, Dad, but he's not a great golfer. He'll
Look at the drums.
Look here, he will openly admit that he's not the greatest a golfer, but for some reason the natural ability for me was there. I had a family member who was quite high in medical studies and stuff like that, a doctor. And when he saw what I was doing with the golf club at his age at 3 and 4, he's like, he shouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah.
The mechanics in his body shouldn't be able to work that out.
Yeah.
And
There's something there.
and so
golf's fucking hard, man.
Extremely.
Tiny ball.
yeah, I can tell you, I can probably do some tricks that you'd be amazed with the golf. Like, my first words were nay, broom, golf, which was just me getting in the car to go to golf. That was basics of my life. When I moved to Tamworth at a young age, and I say I'm from Tamworth because essentially I lived there for 21 years.
Yeah.
My home course, we helped start up the 2-hole, then 4 holes, then you do 9 holes. So younger kids who are just getting into the sport could, 9 holes is a lot for those young kids, but just doing the first 2 holes, it's great, gets them out there. They do that for 12, 18 months, and then they go, okay, well, now you're getting used to it, you can go out and do 4 holes. And we built that up a fair bit.
So how old were you when you started playing golf then, like that?
I had a golf club in my hand at I would say 5 years old. My dad honestly would take me out, and he'll tell you stories about being out on the golf course where as a child, like as a baby, I was on a golf course, and there's one that's a big family story. Is my mum was driving the golf cart and had me on the seat next to her. She'd gone round a bend a little bit too fast. I fell out of the golf cart. She had no idea I was gone. And apparently I was just running around going, "Mummy, come back!" And she feels horrible for that, so... it was a massive part of my growing up. Even to this day, I still talk to my dad and know there's still hope that I'm probably going to start playing golf a bit more serious in the future. I have been around the world thanks to family and stuff like that. And one of the big things I do every time I go overseas is I play golf at a course somewhere over there. Like I came back from Vietnam in November and I play golf over there. Like it's an amazing experience to do. It's one of the things that happens worldwide.
Yeah.
There's not a golf course.
That's right.
There's no country that doesn't have a golf course.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's one of the things that I love that I'll be able to do. Like some people put on, some people like the gym, some people are boxers. Yeah, I was just born and bred into golf.
That's it.
Did you do you dwell on like that golf experience? So for me, it was massive in my mental health. Like I was very good at football, right? And I was very good at that. From a very young age, under 11s, I was playing reps at the highest level, 12s, 13s, 14s, 15s, 16s. I was like one of the youngest to play first grade in Newcastle. Then I went overseas. As I got into the later teens, I realised my mental health was just shit. And the same as you, introduced to alcohol and weed at a younger age. When I was in England, I was playing at a good level, and then my mental health got a hold of me. I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to play anymore. I missed my family back home. And then I came home and I just played with my friends. Now, when I started my journey in mental health, I had a lot of healing to do around that. It's like, fuck, what if I just stuck to it? Where would I be at now? Did you?
Oh, 100%. So there's been many a day where I've sat down and look around. A lot of it's around the financial side of things, when things have been tight and hard, you sit there and you go, what could have been? Like, I've just searched for the last $20 to be able to go and buy lunch. But, if I'd stuck with it at 16, I could have been out there on a tour and $20 would have been what I was paying the caddy to go and get my lunch for me. It's hard. Like, they say hindsight's 20/20, and they say that wisdom would be wasted on the youth, and I 100% believe that. Like my journey took me to where I am now, and I'm blessed. I've got two beautiful boys. I've lived a lifetime in my 31 years.
Yeah. Sounds like it, bro.
We've only scratched the surface, as you know a little bit more about. So a little bit more about myself is after being in that aggravated break and enter, I, as I said, reached out to the Salvation Army, ended up signing in to their rehabilitation centre called Jurong Transformation Centre, which is actually down here on the Central Coast, just outside of Wyong. They run, it was going to be a 4-star resort or something like that. And the Salvation Army ended up buying it, and they made it into, it's not a rehab. They call it a transformation centre because it's not about rehabilitating you, it's about transforming your life. Getting you away from that side of things and showing you how to live without it. And I spent 4.5 months there, working with, doing anger management, alcohol, doing AA, NA, GA even, and I was part of all that, and I immersed myself in that because I was sick and tired of the life that I was living at the time. I was very much over the fact that I was going to go in and out of jail.
And how old are you now? Like in the story?
In that time, I was 21.
21, so you got into Salvation Trans. Yeah.
At this time, I'm still looking at, still going through court for the aggravated break and enter. And in the weirdest of situations, I met the absolute love of my life. And
at this place?
So she was also in the rehabilitation centre. Her name was Elise, or Elle, because she would have hated being called Elise. Struck up the most amazing relationship in my mature age had ever seen. And we then eloped and got married in 2019. After we both moved out of the rehabilitation centres, just due to some stupid things like first of all, we weren't meant to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
Now, at the time of that, she had left the rehab.
Yeah.
I was still in, but because she was a previous participant, it was frowned upon.
Yeah.
Right.
So we found a place we could go to together. So we went there. That place should have been closed down many a year ago. Somehow it was a DOCS certified place.
Wow.
I saw people shooting heroin in that house.
Jeez.
In
That's
that
sad.
facility.
What the fuck?
Honestly, my days in Muswellbrook Jail were better in that
Wow.
rehab. Then we moved from that one to another one, and we got caught with phones, and phones weren't meant to be something you had. So ended up coming back to Tamworth and doing it as an outpatient program. So Elise, or Elle, was amazing. She, from the time I started seeing her, and I was like, and she knew, because everybody knew what I'd shared my story. She knew I was looking at some pretty serious jail time, and I would used to say to her, what would happen there? And she'd go, well, wherever they put you, I'll move to.
Wow.
Wherever you are is where I will be, she would say.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And, it was hardship.
Yeah, it is.
But the crazy part for me at 21 years old was all the toxic relationships I'd had leading up to that.
Yeah.
That was the first time I'd ever really felt like a real relationship, and it felt like it was going to be honest to God. Like when I say I'm going to be there, I'll be there. Mm-hmm. And it didn't matter who would ask her that question, the same answer would come out of her mouth.
God,
and I started doing it as an outpatient in Tamworth, and we were living there for 4 years. My oldest son, who lives with his mother, moved to Coomera on the Gold Coast, and started being a bit of a struggle to see him, spend time with him. So Elle and I looked at the option of moving up there. So in 2019, we moved up there, and we moved to the western side of Brisbane, Red Bank Plains, Bellbird Park, and spent 3 amazing years living in Brisbane together. I'd moved back there in a heartbeat. I love the city.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed where I was. In that time of being married, we decided that we wanted to go down the path of having our own child. And I think so many people don't think about this. They say men don't really have that feeling about wanting a child, but man, when it's with the woman you love,
of course,
100%.
I would have done anything.
You know yourself,
And unfortunately, Elise had a hereditary condition called, I'll just say it, FAP, because I cannot remember how to pronounce it properly.
Google it.
Yeah. It's
I don't even know what it is either, but I'll Google it later.
It's a genetic mutation of the genes in your bowel, which then create the polyps.
Right.
Which then turn to cancer. She'd had some major surgeries through her life, which it then looked like it was going to make it harder for her to fall pregnant. So, blessed as we were living in Brisbane, which was quite handy. We had IVF places all around us and fertility places. And we found out that there was a clinic that would happily see us, and we could go through IVF to be able to try and conceive. As soon as she found that out, her desire, because she'd always wanted to be a mum, just honed in.
Yeah.
She was doing acupuncture. We were eating everything we had to do. Like everything. Yeah. I gave up smoking on the spot.
Yeah.
And again, that was the easiest 6 months of my life.
Yeah.
Like, who cares about smoking when I can bring a child?
It's like your life just completely changed.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And I was still having these up and down days. It was financially struggle. You're supporting someone who is very concerned that this might not happen for them. But when we ended up coming into our IVF, we had 13 eggs taken from Elise, 12 of them fertilised, and then they implanted one, and she fell pregnant. First go. So,
holy.
It's on
awesome. It because that's rare, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's
so many people don't have it happen. It's
expensive too, right?
Yeah, I think we were blessed because bulk builds part of it in Queensland.
Yeah, wow. Okay.
So we were I think we were only 10 grand maybe, but we were working for that 10. It wasn't like we had money to sit there.
Of course.
But little Levi was the one and only egg that we had to put in. And then the story goes downhill. So Levi, we found out about Levi in September, that she was pregnant with Levi in September 2021. Boxing Day 2021, we went to the Mater Hospital because she was having some pain that we thought was pregnancy related. And again, because she was a little bit older, she was 34 at the time, I'm pretty sure. I'm trying to think now. 32 maybe.
Yeah.
She was high risk, especially with all of her medical conditions and the surgeries. Came to the hospital. They're like a specific maternity unit. They said, look, it doesn't sound pregnancy related. You probably head down to emergency. Ran some tests. We then did a CT scan and unfortunately found out that she had lesions on her liver.
What are lesions?
So lesions are essentially like the lumps and stuff like that. They call them lesions, but they're essentially the tumours that grow.
Okay.
And so they believed that they could be cancerous. Within 3 days, we had her in getting them biopsied, and they came back as being cancer. Then the complications started happening with him. So he was getting not enough nutrition. He was essentially going to be very high risk of being lost. So the maternity unit at the Mater Mothers Hospital made a decision that he needed to be born very early. He was born at 28 weeks via cesarean.
Shit, 28. Isn't that borderline like 24 weeks something?
Yeah, so I think that's one of the smallest they've had is 24. So he was right on the borderline.
Yeah.
Whilst this is all happening, Elise was still doing chemotherapy to try and fight it all. I was still working a full-time job.
Where were you working?
I was working for a company called Rocky Zone Transport.
Yeah.
So I was working 12-hour days as an allocator. So from 6 o'clock in the morning to 6 p.m. at night. And then on the days I could get the energy, I was going up to the hospital. And then on top of all that, COVID's running rampant at this time.
Oh, yeah.
And COVID has come through my work. And my work knew everything that was going on. But Elise was in a cancer ward. Levi's was in a high dependency ward. And in a NICU. Essentially, while ever there was a chance that I had COVID, I couldn't be around them.
Yeah. Visitations would have been...
It was few and far between toward the end.
Fucking strict on...
Yeah.
That was bullshit, man.
It was rubbish. Yeah.
I could tell you that the only reason I got the COVID vaccinations is because I was concerned that I wouldn't be allowed into hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so Levi was born on the 10th of March in 2022. He weighed 600 grams and was 30 centimetres top to toe.
Shit.
Then
600 grams. I just want to... I have bigger stakes than that.
yeah, so
That's tiny.
the way I put this into perspective with people is think about a bottle of Coke.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what he was. Because that's 600 mil
Yeah.
and roughly 30 centimetres top to toe.
Holy shit.
So that was what I was holding in my hands.
Yeah.
My son, who I was so blessed and excited to bring into this world, and the first thing he had to do was fight.
Yeah.
I will always say this, his mother was a fighter. She'd been told multiple times she was going to pass away before she was 30. We went to the Gold Coast for her 30th birthday and flipped off the Gold Coast Hospital because they told her she wouldn't make her 30 years old. So we drove fast and flipped them the birthday.
Yeah.
She was a Newcastle girl, grew up out at Maitland area. Her family was still down there. She was still going through chemo, was still very weak. He obviously needed support, and we also needed to be able to bring finances in to be able to afford to live.
And just the court had finished with the home invasion?
Court was all done. I ended up, that was 2 years suspended sentence, which was...
That's what you got?
Which was hilarious because that was what I thought. I asked my solicitor if I could get that. She goes, there's no way I'll even ask because they'll just laugh me out of the courtroom.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's like, just listen to your story then, like, you guys were IVF, which is quite rare, then she got pregnant, and then 28 weeks, which is, again, quite rare, but a fighter, pulled through that, plus you could have been in jail at that time as well.
I'm blown away.
And she got a 2 year suspended, which was quite rare, so it's like, there was someone above you really looking after you there, and sorry man, keep going.
That's really... all right. No, was absolutely blessed to be able to still bring Levi into the world, and with Elise and with Elle. And the decision ended up getting made that we'd move. Her and Levi would move down to Newcastle, live with her dad for a little while I got everything sorted, and then I'd move down as well, sort out what was going to happen with me working and things like that. A week after they moved down, I got a phone call from her dad on a Thursday night. Hey mate, you probably need to get to bed. Tell whoever you need to tell at work you're not going to be coming to work tomorrow and get your ass down here. She's not doing good. I don't know about yourselves, boys, but when someone rings you and tells you that the woman you love is not doing well, what do? You don't go to bed. You don't go to sleep.
No way.
There's no such thing as sleep in that moment.
No. Threw the dog straight in the car, straight to the nearest servo, 4-pack of Red Bull, straight on the road. Rang my mum, who lives at Port Macquarie and was halfway, kind of thing. Said, Mum, you said if I needed anything, I need something.
Yep.
Can the dogs come and stay with you? I'll be pulling in there in about 3.5, 4 hours. Make me a coffee, and I'll be hitting the road again. So I drove from Brisbane and got down here at about 7 o'clock in the morning on the Friday morning.
Fuck, that would have been a hectic drive too, man.
Oh, the stress and then the worst part is I'm throwing caffeine in my body like going out of fashion too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and it'd be hard to, I don't know if you did do the speed limit, but it'd be fucking hard to do the speed
that's
limit.
it. Yeah.
there was no speed limit.
Yeah,
It
that's
was
it.
Getting there.
Get there.
Got there on the Saturday morning. She was essentially in a morphine-induced coma at the time. So non-responsive, but still alive. We spent pretty much all day there. I think it was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I said, look, I'm wrecked. I'd just been awake for, near on 48 hours. I need to go home, go and get some sleep. And everybody was like, yeah, no worries. So I drove back to her dad's place and had a sleep. Next morning I woke up with them and we went back up to the hospital. Me and her dad, it was about 10 o'clock in the morning, me and her dad went downstairs to go and have a smoke and grab something out of the car. Still to this day can't remember what it was. Her brother rang her dad and she passed away.
Fuck,
man.
So you run, but you're not running. Like, it feels like it's just going past so quickly, but really you're just like, whoa. Like, you just, the whole time just felt like it stopped. Like, it seems so cliche, but it just felt numb. Like, I just heard my wife had passed away.
Yeah.
And we get up there and she'd passed away in the 15 minutes we were gone. To this, I remember at the time, we kind of thought that maybe it was because she knew that her dad and me probably wouldn't be able to handle it. It would be a really tough thing for us to see. Like, I've never actually seen it to this day. I think you said you've seen it, that last breath, and someone takes that last breath can be really, really hard.
Yeah, that was my granddad not long ago.
Yeah. I don't know if I would have handled that. Like, I can remember sitting there at that bedside and the emotions just easing, like not even easing out of me, just flowing out of me, just flooding out of me were ridiculous. There's anger, there's sadness, but then on top of that, I've now got this fear because I'm like, I'm a dad still. I've got a young fellow who's still sitting in the NICU.
Oh yeah, because he's still fucking in intensive care, isn't he?
Wow. So
no.
and this
And
is
COVID's still.
no, this was COVID wasn't so bad because this is 2022 now, so
Right,
it wasn't
okay,
as
yeah,
bad.
yeah.
Still around, but not as bad.
Yeah, I'm just trying to cut the timeline. Yeah.
Yeah.
But fuck, okay, shit.
So again, that night, we stayed at the hospital for as long as we could. Then they've got to do what the hospital's got to do. We went back to the house. We all kind of just went into our own separate rooms. Like, it was morbid, like, as we can all imagine. Like, it's just been the hardest thing we've all been through. I can remember waking up at about 10 o'clock that night. And I don't even think I went to sleep. I think I was just laying in the bedroom, just crying and, just trying to feel the emotions and thinking and overthinking. I remember ringing the hospital at about 10:30 at night and saying, hey, so when's Levi's next feed? They said, it's about half an hour. said, all right, I'll be there for it. We drove up to the hospital, and that night I sat at the hospital, gave him his feed, and then I just sat at the hospital holding my son.
Wow.
Tried to put him down for a sleep, but it was hard. It was hard enough for me to let go of him, let alone So it was. I stayed up there, and which essentially then meant that I was there for, again. I think I'd had maybe 10 hours sleep in 72 hours. Ultimately, after everything happened, we had to have a sit down and have a conversation about how things for Levi were going to work out. I will say that I've been extremely blessed and lucky. Elisa's dad stepped up. He retired, and he is now a full-time carer of Levi. And that gave me the opportunity so I could still stay in the workforce and still be able to continue to be able to build a life that he's going to need. And that's the most important part, is making sure that he's got a life. He's
absolutely
going to need to make sure that there's always a roof over his head.
He's kind of like a miracle kid.
He's a miracle baby. I actually think we've got a teddy bear at home somewhere that says that. Because, there's so many things in life that he shouldn't... There's so many things that lined up perfectly for him to be here.
Man, it's a real blessing. Fuck, you're a very inspiring man. That's, I can't believe I just, heard. I'm just still processing it all.
It's fucking
it's honestly, man, fuck, you're the next level. It's great. It's awesome to hear. I can't even express, because it's just, I'm just in awe, of this man. It's wild.
This is where, this is where it's a hard thing to say, but looking back at what, now I've reflected on it and I've done this work on myself, I let him down though in ways. So when I moved down here after Elise passed away, I was living with her brother, her dad, and him in the same house. I was not in a good mental health state. I was fucked. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I was back on grog. I was trying to find any excuse I could not to be in the house. But at the same time, I was hating myself for the fact that I wasn't spending time with my son. But the way I was used to coping with things was such a negative way. It was just straight on to grog. Go and find the most self-destructive thing I can to do damage to myself, to make myself feel try to make myself feel better, but end up feeling worse. I ended up moving out of the house and trying to get my own space. Again, I think I never tried to take Levi because he had a better option there, because I knew that I was not in a great space to be trying to be a father. I was still mourning the loss of my wife,
of course,
as well as trying to pick up the slack and be a father. And
also a provider.
Provider. I had to be. I was trying to be his security, trying to be his mother and his father. I was. As much as I could
grieve the loss of your wife.
It was huge, and these emotions were running through my head constantly, and the mental health just went downhill very quickly. And that caused strain between me and her family, which cost time with him. And I think the other thing I did, which was pretty on track with what I do generally, is I threw myself into work. So I'm an allocator. I'm 24/7, 7 days a week sometimes.
What's an allocator, just for the people
So essentially, at the time I was working for a trucking company, and we would get the run sheets of what deliveries needed to happen, and we would give that load to this truck driver, and make that all work together. But especially with trucking, if there's a truck on the road, something could happen. Tyres blow, they hit roofs.
You're the point of contact when that happens,
I'm the point of contact.
Which is can be quite stressful.
That's right. Oh, absolutely.
Throw the fact that I was in a stressful kind of work environment as well. I love my work. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love it. But it can be stressful sometimes. I found myself getting further and further away from him. And just before I met yourself, Dan, and found myself in the Lion's Den, I had set up to do a mediation with his grandfather so that I could try and start essentially breaching it. I wanted to start getting the conversation had okay, I want him in my life. There's no ifs, ands, or buts for me. I brought him into this world. I do want him in my life. I want to be a father. I felt like I was being somewhat held back from that with them, which gave me that opportunity to be able to do a proper conversation with them. And now we have this amazing arrangement where, yes, I don't get to have him full time, but I get him every second weekend, and we work with each other.
Yes, yeah.
And it's proper co-parenting.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm blessed that he's got his grandfather, but at the same time, I know that I'm also now at that stage where I can step up.
That's it, yeah.
If I have to, I can step up.
Yeah.
If his grandfather goes, look, I really could use a week away, and would you be able to take him? It's like, yeah, done.
Yeah.
Like,
So it's like you've built that trust back with the family.
yeah, and that trust with myself too.
Yeah.
But just because life likes to throw you roller coaster curveballs, I ended up losing my job. The company and I had some differing opinions on some things, and unfortunately, we made a mutual decision that I wasn't really the best place for me to be working at the time, which then brought the depression back in again.
Yeah.
Found myself struggling to want to leave the house, you know. It was like, all right, cool. Well, I've just been paid out for my job. I don't need to go and find work. Like, I want to because I'm used to being a worker, but fortnight, air conditioning, like, this is pretty cool. I don't have to answer to anybody. Like, I can go to the gym when I want to, and I get to do everything I want to do. And then the bank account goes like this real quick.
Yeah, it does happen fucking quickly.
Yeah. So I was still actively looking for work, but at the same time probably wasn't putting my full effort into it. And as we say in the den, where your focus goes, your energy flows.
Absolutely.
So I ended up finding myself really wanting to get back into work. I was not being a provider. I wasn't, being a dad and being a partner to anybody I wanted to be. I was making ends meet, but using savings to do it. Started really working on getting into jobs and found myself in an amazing position, which ended up securing, and then ended up being promoted in that position within about 3 months of starting.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did. Which at the same time, I won't lie, it's again, a stressful environment. Can be a stressful environment at times. I work around the mining in this area. It's not fun. Like, I have my demon phone, which could ring at 4 o'clock in the morning. It can ring at 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
But
Demon phone.
It's because it wakes you up at all hellish times.
That's it, yeah.
Just like the demons.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's been an absolute godsend, and I've now I'm providing not only I've not only been given a great position and a great company, I've now got myself back into a great routine.
Yep.
I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I hit the gym by 5. I'm showered and I finish my gym session by about 6. I'm hitting the shower, and then I'm off to work, and I'm at work by 6:30.
Wow.
And that's me 5 days of the week. If I'm not at the gym, it's only because I've had to answer something to do with work, and I'm probably doing work in the car park at the gym.
Yeah.
And I've gone, this is too hard.
Yeah.
Go to the work.
But your gym routine's very important to you, isn't it?
Yeah. So I've recently set a goal in the last 6 months where, because I lost 25 kilos, I think it was roughly.
Wow.
Just really, again, talking about where your energy goes, your focus goes, your energy flows.
Yeah.
I really started focusing on what I was eating. Started counting calories and all that kind of stuff, and just shredded 25 kilos off.
Yeah. Wow.
So were you quite big?
I wasn't big. I had probably a nice big chubby face and a bit more in the arms and stuff like that. But I wouldn't say I was big. I was just. I'm lucky. I'm 6 foot. I'm 6'1". I'm not Blake's height.
Yeah. That was gold. Right?
Stand up. Yeah. So I was lucky that I held it. But I was unhappy with the way I looked. So I took action.
Yeah, fuck yeah, man.
And yeah, I trimmed that 25 kilos off, and I've got a friend who's a nutritionist and has done ICN body comps before in the past. And I said, look, I'm interested. What have I got to do?
Yeah.
And she said, well, it's a pretty grueling process. You know, it can be mentally draining, it can be physically draining. I was like, sign me up.
Yeah.
I'm setting myself a goal.
Yeah.
So in September this year, I'm setting myself a goal to do the COFS Classic, which is men's physique.
Yeah, okay, awesome.
So I probably won't. I'm not competing in like the big.
Yeah.
Like but the best part about ICN is they test you. So it is 100% natural. It stands for I compete natural.
Yep.
So I'm looking to take this part of this goal and I go, well, this is what I've been doing. Like I love going to the gym every morning.
Yeah.
People think I'm stupid and crazy for going at 5 o'clock in the morning, but I love it.
Yeah.
Sets my day up.
That's it, yeah.
You know, and I used to say it in the den all the time, you know, you guys are getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I've beaten you. I've done.
That's it, yeah.
I've done an hour and a half's worth of life.
Yeah, I like that.
You know, so I was, you know, and so I really love it. And so she's helping me set my goal. So I'm currently in a bulk, which, look, again, that's where the mental side of it plays because you look at, you know, where you were, like where I was 3 months ago, I had 6-pack.
Yeah.
Again, it was skinny boy 6-pack because that's all it was. But now I'm learning that I've got to build it up, shred it back down to actually make it a real 6-pack and things like that. Like it's taught me a lot. I love, we won't talk about nutrition in the gym because I can talk.
Yeah, I know. And I can listen all day.
So I've set myself that goal. September, I'm doing a competition. So I'm really looking forward to that. Shout out to Ash from Fit Treats if she is watching because
Thank you, Ash.
Let's go, Ash.
That's my coach. Very blessed to have her. She's a massive support, and I've been using like these things that I'm learning, and that's helping me with maintaining not only my physical health but my mental health as well. The mental health side of things, you know, being part of the Lions Den, doing this kind of stuff, it's a massive part because as men, as we always say, we're not told to talk about it. We're told that you have to, you know, hold it in. Just, you know, can't shed a tear.
It's a fucking stigma.
The stigma,
That's
it's
stupid.
bullshit.
Speak about it every week.
It's so stupid. Yeah.
You know, the amount of guys, like even I've used to say it, even in some of my bad times, I go, I'm going to the gym and, you know, send out a Snapchat. Well, I've said this too many times, you know, going to keep the demons in my head quiet or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, why?
Yeah.
Why am I going there? I've got great mates around me. Why can't we sit and have a conversation about it? Like, what's so wrong with that? And it is great to see that slowly it's starting to become bigger, but so many men out there are still stuck in that way.
No, there's heaps. There's still people, there's still mates, friends that I know that are like that, you know, and it's just disappointing.
Yeah.
For me, it was I thought I'd be judged.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I thought I was this person that struggling, and no one else struggled. And it's like everyone else seemed to have their shit together. And like for me, it was growing up, people would get, you know, apprenticeships or trades, and then they would fall in love, get married, and then they'd buy a house, and then because it didn't make sense to me that fucking life. And then because I didn't want that, I was trying to fit into that, but then I didn't want to speak about it because I thought I'd get judged.
Yes, yeah.
But fucking everyone's struggling with something.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, no, and look, I really understand what you're saying there because as much as, you know, you go, that's the way it should be done. Like, you know, you get your trade or you get a good job and then you find someone to be with and then you get the house and man, look at my story.
Yeah.
I was in a bloody rehab when I met my wife.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, still, and to this day, like we had matching tattoos. Like that was one of our big things. That was our wedding anniversary.
Yep.
The funny story about my wife. She used to call me a little bitch regularly because she used to come, you know how women like to maybe play a little bit of games with us men, they go, you know, if I was a worm, would you love me still? Well, her one was, would you get a tattoo on your ribs for me? I'm like, fuck no, that hurts. I'll get a tattoo anywhere, but the ribs, no, because she had a full rib piece.
Yeah, wow.
The day I flew back to Brisbane, I got a tattoo on my ribs for her.
Yeah.
Which was the message I would write to her every night before she'd fall asleep.
Oh, cute.
So it says, "Rest easy, my queen. I'll meet you in dreamland."
Oh, nice.
Even with the numbing cream, that bitch hurt.
Ribs are shit's
Yeah.
Leave it on my ribs.
But I'll tell her that pain, I'd wear it all again.
Yeah, of course.
That
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my little funny story because I was her little bitch because I just wouldn't man up
Yeah.
and get
That rib piece done.
And it is sad to say that it took her passing away for me to have it happen, but I still reckon that when it happened, she was sitting there laughing, going,
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
and she was probably still sitting there going, "You're a little bitch, you didn't use numbing cream." I didn't use numbing cream. But so much of, and even like you talk about that, like physical pain, like we're told we've got to stand there.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's wrong with actually openly admitting that we've hurt?
There's nothing wrong with it, but it's that, I don't know, I just think it's the generation that, we're all in our 30s, it's the generation I think we just grew up with because we got to look at our fathers, right? What were their fathers telling them as kids? And then what were their fathers telling them? And it's what I'm just getting down now. So now it's up to us to tell our kids, it's going to take a generation or two to change that stigma. But this is why we fucking started this podcast, is to tell other men out there that it's fine. Like, just speak about it, tell your story, reach out to your mates. Again, what'd you say last week? If your mates aren't willing to listen, fuck them off.
Yeah, that's it. Change your circle of friends.
Your circle.
Yeah.
100%. Community is a massive part of growth. And I think that's where it's at. So with our kids coming up and us doing the work, speaking about our story, doing the work around the mental health, not just, this is my story, and not doing the work because you're just going to keep repeating the same shit.
That's right.
And men need to sort their shit out.
Yeah.
It's, okay, this is what's wrong with me, this is what I'm doing to change it, and this is my story.
Yeah.
And look, that's one of the reasons why I'm so proud to say that I'm, after being brought into that brotherhood, I love the fact that I'm bringing my sons into it as well. Like we've talked about the little cubs and stuff like that.
100%.
We did recently. We took my dad's boat out and we went water skiing.
Yeah, that was fucking sick.
It was great to have the young fella there. Not mine. Az's little fella there. Bentley. That's the name. I was so sorry, Az. I knew his name. I just forgot it for a second. That's where I believe it should be. Like we have to be teaching our sons the right way to be doing it.
That's right. We've got to reprogram what we've been programmed.
Yeah, 100%. Really, really do. And then even this, like when he gets older, he's probably going to watch this. And the same with my story, my son is going to watch and get to know me. And then that way, that'll break the stigma too. Oh, Dad, you went through this. I'm currently going through this.
Yeah.
Yes.
What should I do? What did you do? What mistakes did you make? And that's going to save a lot of fucking time. Because to be honest, like I wish I knew my dad's full story as I was growing up, because I would have felt a bit more safer to reach out to him as I was going through a lot of that shit.
Yeah. Well, through my teenage years, my dad and I had a horrid relationship, like punch-ups. That all. If you can think about it, my dad and I probably did it.
Yeah.
Half the reason I used to get arrested was because my dad was the one calling the police.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was trying to do it. He was trying to help me in his way.
It sounds like he was doing it from a place of love.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was doing it from that place of love. But
Yeah.
you try and tell the 14-year-old rebellious child.
You're a snitch.
Shut that. Why would you come and man? I remember one of the times I got arrested. He came and picked me up from the police station, and he had coppers walk me to the car because he knew I wouldn't want to go with him. We jumped in his car and he just drove. I fell asleep and I'm like, "Where the fuck are we, Dad?" And he goes, "Doesn't matter." I'm like, "You brought me out here to kill me." I'm like, "I understand I'm a turd, but I didn't think I deserved that." And we pull up, and it's a little spot called Burren Junction. Now, most of you guys probably never heard of Burren Junction.
Never.
Way out west. But it has the beautiful hot springs. They got the hot water springs that come natural from out of the ground.
Sounds beautiful.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing, but it's in the middle of bumfuck nowhere.
Yeah.
And he just went, "Right, so we're camping for the night." I said, What do you mean camping? We haven't got anything." He goes, "Yeah, we do. We got a tarp." Just threw the tarp on the ground. That's what we slept on.
Yeah.
And for the next 2 days, we just drove around where he grew up, and we went he was trying to get through to me, but he talked to me now and he goes, "I was also trying to get you away from your bloody phone."
Yeah.
because that phone in your hand was your connection back to all the shit.
Yeah. That's right.
And I look back and I go, he was so right. I was so worried about everything that was going on here.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was doing it out of 100% part of love, and for years I hated on him. Nowadays, I lean on him for so much.
Awesome.
Now, I was talking to my dad on the way here, getting his advice.
Well, your bond, I guess, has gotten stronger over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Same with my old man. He came and watched me play on the weekend,
cool.
on Friday night.
Yeah.
And he left straight away, but the first thing I said to him is, what were your thoughts?
Yeah.
Because I appreciate his thoughts on how I play,
Yeah,
He's done that for
exactly,
me from fucking day dot, and he just gave me his honest opinions without fucking, thank you, I agree. But I think, because I was the same, I've punched my dad multiple times as a kid, growing up, being immature and just anger issues and stuff, but yeah, that bond that we've created now, I think it's really important.
Yeah, it's a massive, and look, I think that's where we can be doing that for our boys too. Like that's, even for our girls, I don't know, you've got a couple of girls, don't you? Yeah. So like, why can't even the girls come to talk to their dad about things? Like,
100%.
And I've been that's how I've been trying to program my girls now. That's what I want to happen with me as their father, especially as their father, I want them to be able to, express things that they feel or what's going on in their life, just so I can just help give them my advice.
Well, like I said to you the other week, it's really important that fathers do have that safe space for their daughters, because our daughters are going to get older, they're going to start dating, they're going to start getting relationships. We know what kind of fucking men are out there, right? We were probably one of them at one stage. We want them to feel safe.
Exactly.
And so they'll attract themselves to men that make them feel safe.
Exactly, yeah.
and I think the other side of that too is, as boys, we've got two boys between us.
Yeah.
We need to be showing our boys how to be those safe men.
100%.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it works on all sides. Again, why as men should we not be
Spot on.
teaching this to our kids?
Yeah, we should be.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like we say, do the fucking work in the den. Don't just do it for yourself, do it for your family.
Yeah.
Because if you're going through that, look, we all struggle, we'll have bad days, but if you're having more bad days and you are struggling to control those bad days, it's not just affecting you, it's affecting your kids. They pick up a lot. We spoke about the sponges last week, but they pick up fucking everything. They'll pick up the way you manage emotions, they'll pick up your little tantrums, they'll pick up the way you speak to your missus, they'll pick up the way you speak to yourself, the way you treat yourself. They'll do all that, and then they'll think it's fine for them to do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, 100%. And this is where, again, my oldest boy, when he stays with me, I still get up and I go to the gym. And like, even he will go, where's Daddy gone? Gym? Daddy gym? And it's like, well, yeah, I'm teaching. I'm so teaching this because that's a health thing.
That's great.
Taking care of your mental health and your physical health.
That's right.
Yep.
Is a massive thing.
It's great.
We're trying to my other boy. I love getting him in the kitchen and teaching him how to cook things because if you can only cook spag bowls when you move out home, that's what you eat a lot of.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. That's it.
So that's teaching them independency,
that's
and
right.
then so we're just introducing this at my place with my son.
Yep.
Right. He has this very basic diet where it's chicken nuggets or it's Vegemite wraps or it's pasta. And when he first started, the missus would start making it for him, and I was like, let's just get him to start doing it himself.
Yeah.
Because that's going to build self-confidence. And then it's appreciation and gratitude with the things that he's got.
That's right.
So he's building all this for himself. Whereas I know back home, he can sit at the table and dinner's there, lunch is there.
That's it.
Go do it yourself.
Yeah,
You're 12 years old. You can start doing it yourself now.
When my boy comes, like my boy Zave, when he comes over, I go, cupboard's there. It's full.
Help yourself.
You want it? Grab it.
That's it.
Don't even have to come and ask me. It's in that bloody cupboard so I can get eaten.
Yeah.
It's there.
But I'm teaching him, how to cut potatoes up.
Yeah.
Teaching him, how like sweet potato is really good for you because it's low GI and all that kind of stuff. So I'm trying to show him all these different things to have, and I'm teaching him how to cook it. Like his favourite meal, honey chicken. He loves honey chicken from a Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
So I made him honey chicken. We made it together. I love cooking. It's one of my favourite things to do. I love eating, so that's why I like cooking so much. But so why not be sharing that? Because again, it's not just sharing like a skill, but it's teaching him how to be better.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
And he's going to take that into his
Exactly.
adult life.
yeah, and that's what we should be doing with everything. You know, like mental health, physical health, just life skills.
That's
in
right.
my eyes, it's one of the things where I think schools are letting kids down.
Yeah.
Because I have never used I can't even say it, Pythagoras' theorem once. But did you know you had to vote every year when you turn 18? Like,
I don't need a vote.
you're on a commie passport, aren't you?
No, you're,
Who do you vote for anyway? The fucking government's fucked.
Oh, the schools don't teach you how to live life when you're on it. Like, that's why people get thrown in after they finish school and they're just like, well, what the fuck are taxes? You know,
Hang on a second. I thought I was going to be earning this. Well, yeah. Oh, hang on a second. Gee, my pay's a bit short.
Yeah, that's
it. And like, there's things like that need to be taught to kids, like how to do your tax return.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
You think about it, like, why aren't we teaching kids that? But we're teaching them, you know.
We should be teaching them as well what are emotions,
Yes.
how to handle them, what they mean,
Yeah.
where they stem
But
from.
they're doing the school's just doing the bare minimum.
Bare minimum.
Yeah. Education wise.
Oh, but yeah, they don't want us to feel like our kids are unsafe there, or you know. I remember even when I was in school, they started bringing in the behavioural things, not like about misbehaving, but being a good student and not bullying. And it's like, well, why is that kid bullying though?
Yeah, exactly.
He's not just come to school and gone, I'm going to be an absolute turd today. There's a reason why that kid is acting up like
That's
that.
right.
Yeah.
We need to be focusing on why that kid is acting up, and that will then form his years into better and more productive instead of those kids who are mucking up in class. I remember what it used to be was the kids who mucked up in class, put them all in one class together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was actually one at Morrison High School. There was like all the bad kids or all the kids that played up, they were all in one class.
One class,
I think it was called the ID class.
Yeah.
I think.
Put them all in one class so that they can all interact together.
That's it, yeah.
Man, like the amount of, that, to me, that resonates, like when I listen to that, it also reminds me of when I was in jail, because you're putting a bunch of criminals with a bunch of criminals.
Yeah.
And I can remember guys talking about the next job they wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, this place here, there. It's like, you're in a jail. You do understand that, like, this life is getting you to here.
Because there's a Musselbrook, sorry bro.
No, you're right. I was gonna just ask you a question about, like, while you're on the subject of jail. Do you feel when you're in there like you were being rehabilitated, or do you think you're being like institutionalized in a sense?
It's housed.
Yeah.
So I was housed in a jail. So Musselbrook, they had an AA program.
Yeah.
And you could do that.
Yeah.
And that's when I first got introduced to AA. But at the same time, apart from that, you're just walking around or just sitting in your cell, or, you know, Musselbrook is a working jail, so you could go up, you could do work to earn, and like when I say earn money, it was literally enough to buy your pouch of cigarettes, your pack of papers, and a box of matches.
What kind of work was it?
You were scraping so when I did it, I was scraping the chewing gum off the bottom of school tables so that they could be resanded, repainted, and sent back to the schools.
Yeah, right.
So it's essentially just cheap labour for the government.
Yeah.
There's no real programs in a jail to help make people realise there's a better option.
Yeah.
And to help, like, you know, as we talk about, just making us go, okay, why was I feeling that emotion? Why was I making that decision?
So
because of that emotion.
Nothing like mental health in Musselbrook jail?
No, not when I was there. Like, this was 2012.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2012 when I was there. You know, it was more, I can literally remember some of the things that I remember once watching, hearing conversations, many times hearing conversations of guys going, oh yeah, no, this is what I'm going to do when I'm going to get out. And you sit there and go, that's just going to lead you back in here.
No.
But okay, why not? If that's what you want to do. And then the other one was drugs.
Yeah.
I don't mind drugs. Like, I didn't mind drugs, but why would you want to take speed and then sit in your prison cell?
Yeah.
Because you can't do nothing.
That's it.
But they're just chasing that fucking that feeling.
Yeah.
And I guess I guess it made the time go quicker. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, possibly.
But like the bupe was a big one around when I was in there, and
The what? Sorry.
bupe, which is the buprenorphine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I had no interest in doing that whatsoever, because everybody I watched do it within 5 minutes was throwing their asshole out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's
right.
like, why? Why did you do that for that 5 minutes worth of high?
Yeah.
But again, like that's what is being trained into their bodies, being, that's what is being taught in their lives. So that's what they end up doing. And this is why it's such a very important thing for me to be showing little ones. And one of the big things I love about doing this work in the den and doing things like this is it's not just about my little ones. I grew up in before I started acting out, a fantastic environment where my family's friends, we all did things together.
Yeah.
Camping, water skiing, going on holidays, stuff like that. Why can't we be doing those things now? That's why when we did that camping trip, I invited, my mates, yourself. Unfortunately, I hadn't met you, Blake, but bring the kids along. Let's make this about fathers and sons and daughters out there all interacting and having a great time and understand this is what life can be.
Yeah. Oh, bro, we'll be definitely doing it again.
Yeah.
That was really good, and it's only going to get bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Because I'm all for that, having that community of strong men, strong women, and then the kids just witnessing everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what it's 100% what it's about. We as strong men, attracting strong partners, which are then creating stronger children and stronger future. Again, this is where talking about relationships. So many of my past relationships just toxic. Where now it's not a toxic relationship. We're talking like adults and being mature about things, which is nice. You don't think.
And it's fucking, sorry, man, it's just weird too that at the start, having that, because for me it was toxic, so it was chaotic, everything was chaotic, there was always something going on. And then to fall in love with someone that's not toxic, and then me not to be toxic myself, and have normal conversations where we're not yelling or abusing each other, it was like, is this normal? Aren't we meant to be yelling at each other? Aren't we meant to be swearing? And it's like, no, this is the peace that love gives you when you fucking do the work.
Because you get so used to chaos.
Yeah.
You're like, you're like, what's going on?
I just want to create something.
What can I blow up?
What can I self-sabotage?
Well, that's the biggest thing. I think that's the biggest thing as men is we just love to self-sabotage, don't we?
100%.
I did in the past, and self-sabotage everything.
So overdoing it.
You'd have something going good, and then it's like you don't consciously do it, so it's subconsciously. It's like you don't deserve this, so I'm going to self-sabotage it in some way, and then the self-sabotage happens. You're like, fuck, why did I do that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But that's just a trauma response we're playing out.
Yes.
Fuck, but man, that's a crazy story, and it's massive how much you've grown through that. But like, what's probably one of the biggest takeaways from the journey you've had so far?
Probably the biggest one is you've got to be doing the work.
Yeah.
Yep.
I skated around the edge of it. I'd been through the rehabs. I'd been through the anger management classes and this, and half put my foot in and half put my foot out. Being part of that Lions Den and just really focusing and going, yep, I'm going to be ready. I'm going to do the homework. I'm going to do the call. I'm putting in the effort now. So that in 12 months' time, I'm in control of it myself. And looking back from 12 months ago, the version of me now is so much better. I was still happy and I was still good then. But there's just been 1,000% improvement, and I just look at myself and go, imagine what another 12 months is going to do. Like, if I keep on focusing on this, keep on working on this, doing the things that we're doing, I'm just going to keep growing and blowing up and becoming an even better person.
Yeah.
And setting an even better example for my sons.
Yeah.
Setting a better example for men. Bringing other men around us who are dealing with this stuff together and teaching us all better ways to deal with it. It's going to be fantastic, and I can't wait to be part of that.
Right, awesome. And I'm honoured that you're a part of it, man. Fucking amazing.
You're an inspiration, mate. It's so good to meet you. Your story is a hell of a story, and I'm sure a lot of men out there are going to hear this and be inspired themselves. Because, what a journey you've been on.
Absolutely. What's one bit of advice, brother, that you'd give to the listeners, and if they are going through anything that you've been through, or if they're just struggling, what's one bit of advice you'd give to them?
It's probably it's cliche. It's from AA. If nothing changes, nothing changes.
Yeah, that's good.
If you don't make the effort, it's not going to get any better.
Yeah.
If you don't speak to somebody, you don't reach out to that mate who, is understands this side of things, you don't go, okay, I need to make a change. It's not going to fucking get any better.
Yeah.
You just
Owning
get-
it.
Yeah.
Just take responsibility and accountability and just change.
And then change.
And I think the other thing is so many people need to understand, even if, again, you said, you're going to be judged for it. You step up and own it. So many more people around you are going to look at you and go, fucking congratulations, man.
Yeah.
Like, it takes fucking balls to do
100%.
that.
Yeah.
I remember guys from friends when I stopped drinking going, geez, you're 20 and you want to stop drinking? I'm like, well, yeah, I know where I end up if I drink. I don't want to end up there again. It's that simple.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And they just go, fuck, that's it. Like, even grown, 40-year-olds are going, fuck, that's incredible to hear that you are just going to just give it up.
Like, it doesn't matter how old you are, you can change no matter what age.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's really important. But fuck, man, thank you so much, brother,
Yes,
for
thank
sharing that story. That was amazing.
Proud to be here.
If you do resonate with him and you want to reach out to Nathan. I'll put his Instagram in the thing. Can you just pass me that sign, please, babe? I want to give a shout out to Rob, who's also in the den. Made me this sign. Impact Gifts. Look that up on Facebook. This guy is a wizard. The reason we didn't put it there, Rob, is because he is short.
I'm short.
And it hides him a lot. So I'm going to get you to make another one just a bit smaller, please, my bro. But I really appreciate you, Rob. Amazing. We might get a little booster seat.
I need one. Mine's still off in the cinemas.
But he can throw a punch, so it's all good. But yeah, guys, thank you again. Episode 4, Untold Story of Men. Please reach out to either us or a friend or somebody. Please do the fucking work. Like Nathan said, if nothing changes, nothing changes. Appreciate you all so much. Love yous. Thanks again.
Woo! Awesome.